This is Mahmud, a photographer from Dhaka who has been working in the Rohingya camp since 2017. This exhibition, I'm calling it 3 years gone without an identity. And this presentation is for the UCL audience, and after I present it, I hope you have a question to ask me. Well, I'll be happy to answer that. Thank you. Now, I'm going into the exhibition. I have selected mostly images from the camps, from the Rohingya point of view, and at the end, I have few stories talking about the host communities. I thought it is important to show the situation in Cox's Bazar. Now, I'm starting. I'm showing that how the situation was in 2017 when they left. In 2017, I watched families arriving with sad, vacant eyes, dejected and lost, not knowing what the future would be. They stripped the green canopies of the Ukhia hills to make a shelter and to cook, flocked at the base of the mounds collecting fresh water, waiting in long lines to receive relief materials, pushing each other, angry at times. I have documented mothers with multiple children on the mud floor of her new home made of plastic and twigs. I felt the agony of Mia while he lay on the floor and the volunteer paramedic trying to clean his bullet wound. His mother, Nur Bahar, later described their misfortune. My husband was sowing seedling in the field when the military started firing. Mia and his older brother ran to check. Both the boys were shot, the older one killed. The villagers found my husband's dead body later. There wasn't time for a proper burial, and the whole village ran for shelter. Crossing the border wasn't easy, always fearing that the Mogs will find us. They walked for 5 days to reach Bangladesh border. Many families had similar stories to tell. By the end of a year, in their makeshift plastic shacks on the hills, one explained to me. Tears stopped rolling down our cheeks, repeating the same tale over and over again. Everybody asked the same question. This hardened our hearts. One has to worry about the living family members. I'm moving into the children's life. A rainbow visited one afternoon, but the children did not notice that. They were busy carrying water. Their mother was more worried about the late monsoon rain leaking through the weak roof. Now I'm talking about the people I met at that time. I did a homeless portrait session in a shack, and I returned after a year to give their photos to see their reaction. And there were children, some of the children had never had their pictures taken, ever, except for the government family portraits for census. So when I returned, the children, some of them told me that the schools teach us the same alphabet every day. I'm bored. Another one said, no shortage of food. One can walk to the medical centers for free with an ID. The rainy days are difficult though. Another one said that now we can look to get our daughters married before they get out of hand. Religious lesson is good enough for the girls, a father said. Early marriage remains very high among the Rohingya, so is dowry. Adolescent mothers and the babies have access to nutritious supplements through development agencies. I have informal discussions with the camp elders, the Maulavis, the imams, through whom the religious sentiments are reflected, considering birth spacing for a better future of the newborns. The answer remained the same. Allah is the provider. No shortage of brides in the camp, bragged one young man. Now, I met Nur Fatima. She has a new child, named her Nur Qaida. I asked her why there is a non-stop fire in the closed room. The cord dries up fast, lessens the pain. She's expected to be in that position for 7 days. Then Khatija's child is 1 day old and no name is given yet. She's married when 16 and not long ago. orphan sisters, Zannat and Muzina, lost their mother 3 years ago in the camp. Father was hacked to death by the mock military 16 days before the Qurbani Eid, the girl told me. I walked into a madrasa and Kulsum and her cousin learned the holy book there next to the quarters. It is run by the Saudi donors, the Maulvi said. Coming out of home will soon be gone as they will menstruate and ready to be married off. This is about the early marriage scenarios. This is what I saw between 2017 September for the next 1 year when I completed my exhibition with Action Aid Bangladesh. I took the exhibition to several places to raise awareness. It was in Bangkok, in Bangladesh few places, and I had opportunity to take it to Indonesia, and I traveled to Jakarta in 2018, and I thought to look into their lives. So I traveled to Makassar and met people who tried to escape to Australia through the Atlantic and failed. They had refugee status and living in a life in transit. Some started a family with the Indonesian brides. Most hoped that they would someday travel to America when time comes. And even though they are stranded, they are considered refugee there. But in the camps in Bangladesh, they are stranded with no identity. During the launching of my first exhibition in Cox's Bazar, Dola, a performance artist, she volunteered to show a mother's pain, how she lost her child when she was crossing, running away from the Myanmar army. And after that, I returned to the camp 2019 with SCF, an agency working for women and children, building infrastructure and providing sanitation for more than a decade. One of, as SCF told me, there is pressure from the community. People feel that NGOs are giving all the aid to the Rohingyas and not to the host communities. So we had to address it and started the similar program they were running in the camps. And now I'm telling some of the stories in the host communities, how they are addressed. I met Senwara, who bought a pair of geese from the money she earned through Cash for Work program. She's happy. And I met crab trader Rashid Mia. His son works with him. Rashid told me that this is Anjuman Para, through which thousands of Rohingyas walked through the paddy fields in 2017, destroying everything. But now it's good that they are thinking about us. I did not have to borrow money on interest, so that helps. Then I met Alema, who has a paralyzed husband. He is Soyod Alam, who is paralyzed for 3 years. But his life wasn't like that, the wife said. He was the one who would work in the fishery project looking after a family of 9 members, never sitting idle. The help of 25,000 taka from Mukti is used for his treatment and buying these goats. One has given birth to 3 babies. Our elder son, 2 sons support us when they can. This is in Ukhia. Then I met the mother and son in the same village. They were abandoned by the husband, and the mother said that he left us when the boy was in my womb. He married somewhere else and sired another 3 children, never returned to see us. I've invested most of the earned money from fixing roads in my vegetable patch. Some people even call me a vegetable farmer. The Rohingyas come to buy turmeric leaves they use in the making of a curry. 3 leaves bring 10 taka, that's good money. Then I met Akhide in a community nutrition center. She works with 3 other workers, but this is in Teknaf, not in Ukhia. That's another area through which the Rohingyas entered Bangladesh. As Aki said, we had some Rohingya beneficiaries also in the Rohingya town. Last month they had to leave for the allotted camps as the government said that they cannot live here. We are expecting today 29 children and we'll distribute food supplements and regular checkups for mothers and the children. There came Tom driver Farooq and his wife Rukia. bringing their child to monitor the progress of progress of Ruhan's health. They say, this is our third visit. The arm measurement is increasing slowly. We did not know about the Pushtikhana, as they say, nutrition center. One lady from Shed, an NGO, visited our home recently and that helped. Ruhan was agitated all the time and would not eat properly and kept us awake all night. He now sleeps and we do too. This is about Shobita. She called her goat Haluni, and her son named another goat at Saqib after the most popular cricketer of Bangladesh. Then I asked her, is there a fox around to kill the cattle? Oh, never seen one. So many families are settled in this former forest. This area was cleared during the grandparents' home. This is important. I feel that people are always blaming the Rohingyas for cutting the forests and all these things. But cutting the forest in this area has been happening for a very long time. Of course, when the Rohingyas came, it sped up. That is deteriorating, but the damage was been done for a long time. Then I met Reboti. Her husband died, a rickshaw puller, 5 years ago. From the money she received from the Cash for Work program, she invested in pigeons and goat, but she said that it needs constant guarding. And especially at night, the thieves from the Rohingya camps try to break in. I sleep with a machete in the cattle shade. If there is a noise in the tin fence, I clutch my weapon. So here, the fear of the newcomers is very high among the host communities. I have a feeling that that will take a long time. Now I'm entering into the camp through ACF, and I'll be talking about their healthcare, nutrition and other things. I met Dalia. She's a health educator working with a pregnant and lactating mother. So I thought I will ask her about the situation here. I asked her whether did you work in any awareness session like this while you were in Rakhine? She said yes, once in a month UN women would come and give us red tablets. I understood that that's iron tablets, possibly with contraception pills, but they never gave food. We talked about birth spacing in an uncertain future. I see that the husbands, one mother said the husband's hukumat is in order, is the last word. They're against birth spacing. And my question is now, we're in another country, you have no identity, living at the mercy. Should you not be careful? Husband said, why worry? A child brings a new food card from the foreign NGOs. So that's a new reality here. And I thought I would go around Ukhia and Cox's Bazar and see the hazard land, erosion, climate change and everything, and I put some shots in here. It is the same landing station through which the Rohingyas came, but for the local population that difficulty remains the same. They had to cross the river, go through different terrain to reach their home. And in one morning, I was working in the registered camp where I saw a group of people carrying a dead body. And I followed them to the graveyard on the top of the housing. And they say that it is important to be a clan. The whole camp is divided into clan. You are part of a group. If you have none, who is going to bury you? So that's in a place when there is non-existent identity, but people cling to their keen ones. I think that could be the strength of survival. I met Fatima. She was home visiting, but again she was unhappy with the men in the camp. The Huzurs want to keep their job and talk in favor of the men to have children without breaks. They have created hell in this earth, thinking that foreign help will never stop. They will have to answer to Allah, neglecting their wives and children. Mothers listen, but there is not much protest. the health worker told me that things are changing, but very slow. The mindset of the mothers and the men are hopefully will be changed. Then I was with SEF and they show the mothers how to look after their babies with toys, with sound. And here 5 is 10 months old and he's being massaged. Massaging the limb makes the child relax, and bonding grows between the child. Gas comes up the tummy and the child's appetite grows. And the mothers are asked to repeat the steps by the trainer. And the mother later told me that I came to the same place with my firstborn and now the second child. The center has been there for the children's nutrition and health care. My oldest child is 7 years old. When we perform a stimulation session like this, the child is happier, they giggles. And then I walk to two other children who are being attended, Khurshida and Sanjida. So they're not the children, they're the adolescent mothers. They come with their 5 and 4 years old children, Jasmine and Nilanjana. So here they're taught how to use homemade toys, like filling a plastic bottle with soil, making a boat, a flower, a soft ball from old clothing. The idea is to say that this is safe and you can make it at home. And the mothers enjoy it because they can come out of their tiny home and be with the children. A mother was looking after her child, and Ziaul is her youngest, 3 years old. She told her story. I entered Bangladesh with my family from Nafura. Too many children to look after, and Zia was neglected. I would bring him here to the Shujikhana, as they call we call these nutrition centers, and he survived. So there are happy mothers when they come to different development agencies looking after children, education and that. But I did not cover education much. It's mostly about health and sanitation. There I come to another session of the elder children. They call it therapeutic play session at the Kutupalong camp. That is the first camp. The children say that we are born here. Whenever we want to have fun, we just come here, we play. This is our playground and there is food. But these children were in school near the camps. Today is the art competition for grade 2 classes. This is between a number of schools, and this is a hand washing day. It's celebrated here. This is not only drawing, as the NGO worker told me. The children will be asked questions regarding cleanliness. One has to demonstrate the skills of hand washing, how many seconds between each hand, number of times. And the Dhaka Hassani Mission children, they are from an NGO, who came with the traditional Myanmar's dresses. They wanted to stand out, and I thought they looked beautiful. But that the longing to go back still there, but they are stranded. And then I went to a hand washing session in the camp where the volunteers go to a community and ask them to perform. But at the best thing is for the children, they get very happy when after the session they get a Lifebuoy soap. I've been told that without that, even the mothers are reluctant to come and join in workshop and a session. I'm talking about the income generation activities inside the camp, like I showed you before in the host community. Here I met the barber in Hakimpara, Nur Hashem, who learned it in Myanmar but never had the money. He worked for 72 days and earned money, and he bought a chair, a mirror, decoration, everything. And he said that, oh, I charge 30 taka for a haircut. Men comes for shaving their beard and armpits. And I think I've taken some loan which should be soon be paid off. I met a lady next to the place and she said that her husband is brain out. I understood that she has mental disorder. He comes and goes, wishes for days. We have a child, and he was here 2 weeks earlier, demanded money. Where can I get extra money? So this is Toslima's story. Toslima learned how to make a fishnet grandfather. Now I make it here. It's a life savior, and people come to the house and ask about it and sell it, and I'm doing a new life. Then I met the singers in a tea stall. They sing and talk about in a melancholy voice about the sadness, the atrocities they faced in Myanmar, and then they pick up an issue, a health issue, hygiene issue, and sanitation issue, and sing about it. And men listen, children listen, and I asked them, why men? Don't you do it for women? They said, no, women will do women's session. This is for men. Women are not allowed to come here. So that segregation remains very strong. Biogas. As in the beginning of the show, you've seen that the children's life was mostly about collecting water or fetching firewood from the forest. That's why the green canopy was gone. But the NGOs had tried biogas from human excreta. That is gone. Now there is enough gas cylinders supplied. So people can go back with their cylinders every end of the month and get a new one. So that helps to decrease the deforestation, but the damage is already done, I guess. When I walk into the camp and wander around, I feel it's a disjointed city of its own. It seems that everything is there and nothing is there. It looks like a mega slum, and there is sadness, there is happiness, there is struggle. The Megapang in Kutukalun changed the economic scenario in Ukhia, affecting the refugee and the host community. The early morning market by the roadside in Kutukalun is the largest and the busiest in this region, buzzing with wholesalers from the host community, and it's mostly men. The emerging market in now called Rohingya Bazaar, it was called Moinargona before. Now there are marketplaces called Madhuchara or Mochara. So anywhere the Rohingyas are more active, people usually refer that as a Rohingya Bazaar. And I remember at Pan Bazaar, there was no gold shop, probably maybe one. Now there are almost a dozen gold shops. So there is money rolling everywhere. And I understood that there are a very good number of men from the registered camps. They traveled to Myanmar through the sea, and they send money. Now, I'll be talking about a new finding. I'm calling it The Lost at Sea. It's a series I used to continue to show the mental suffering of the wives or the mothers that their husband or the sons left for a new future to Malaysia through the boat people and never returned. And I spent few days and in registered camp 2, and I found almost a dozen of cases. And these are the few. Here, the first I met Senowara. Her husband left 6 years ago. People were always going somewhere in the winter season through the fishing boat. I tried to stop him because I was pregnant at the time, but he did not listen. Why you are so mad about going? He said that when I was young, my relatives used to look down on me because we are poor. He said that I would go to Malaysia and be rich and show them off. I said, you may die. He said, no, it doesn't matter. Even if I die, I will die in Malaysia, not here. So that urge to prove himself and not to stuck in a hole, I think that made people desperate. And he also told his wife that, wait for me 5 years. If I don't come back, marry again. 5 years gone. She hasn't taken a husband yet. Then I met Toyoba. Hassan left with the same group but never returned. Now, Toyoba works in a restaurant as a dishwasher. Then I met Kobir Ahmed and Khurshida. Their son Siddiqur left to be in Malaysia. The couple had 11 children. As they explained the situation, our son came to Bangladesh to visit the aunt. The police came during the regular checkups on the Rohingya youths. That was in Myanmar. But they didn't see him and erased his name. So he was not even listed there. But Siddiq did not tell a word that he was going to Malaysia. He talked to a dalal and left. And they said that, dalal always said that, oh, give us some lump sum money. When the boy reaches, we'll ask for that. But who knows? He could be lost. Nobody knows where he is. Then I met Rashida. She was sitting by the wall graffiti. It was done by the children, school children, drawing on the wall. She said that 6 years my son left. He was only 17 years. He was afraid that he would be taken by the Bog military in Myanmar, so he ran away. But he did not call me when he was on the boat. But others men did call them. So people tell me that my son was sold as a slave. And it's hard for a mother that she still hopes that the son will be back someday. And Rashida has another 2 sons in Malaysia who were successful landing there. And she tells me at the end that you told me that you have friends in Malaysia. Please send his name, and if you hear from him, let me know. So I did this to an organization, all these names to a organization in Malaysia, but none of them were identified. I'm talking about Samsun Nahar. He's Samsun Nahar's husband, Fazlu. He boarded a boat with sister-in-law. The sister and husband is already there and a 1-year child, but he never heard from them again. They just left, maybe the boat capsized, nobody knows. Then I met Sanjida. Again, her son is lost 6 years. He called me from Akiab in Myanmar for the last time. People say that he is arrested by the Malaysian police and is in jail. His last sentence was, "Ma, pray that I can reach the shores of Malaysia." So Sanjida is holding a JAC photo, meaning the census photo, when the son was 10 years old. The only memory I have of my son. She gave birth to 13 children and 7 of them died before they reached the age of 5. My son was mad for cooked rice, happy when his tummy was full. I got him married and his wife found another man after a year of his disappearance. Sadness of a mother. Then I met a man who was there, but he was arrested and they sent him back. But how did you go? I asked him, oh, I made a Bangladeshi passport and went, but people did that in the past. Ali Asghar, he's 25, was in Malaysia. He was among 6 men who was caught there by the police. The others came out paying money, but his brother was also apprehended, but they could not pay, so there is no news. So I said, how did you go? And he said, oh, we made Bangladesh passport and went, and many people went like that. And but things are not like that anymore. You cannot go. The last of this series is of a mother that she said that son was in prison, but that's it. There is no news of it. So story continues. So I think there's not much to talk about it. But I thought that I would visit the place where all the men mostly go. They talk about Shamlapur fish landing. They say that boat leave from here in secret. And Shamlapur is a ship landing station in trawlers. That's where people find a middleman and try to go. But it's a long journey and it's not always a successful journey. And there are never-ending stories, and they always say that, oh, pay us, you don't have to pay anything. Once you go there, your family will pay it, and we are fine with that. But the demand increases, men get lost, children got lost, women got lost, so that goes on. And I understood that there are many, many more stories in the camp of wives who are longing from the husband's mother, waiting for their son to come back. I think it's sad, and I see their eyes are full of tears when they talk about it. So this is more or less a story that I thought I will compile for this online exhibition. And most of the images are between 2018 and 2019. As I mentioned, that I worked with an agency who are mostly working with the mother and the children. And the book is published through SEF, but on the top of that, my first book is more of the testimonies of the future, probably, that I should show you. Thank you very much. And I will take questions, I suppose, for the next 20 minutes or half an hour, and I try to explain more if you have any queries.